Welcome back. In today's video, let's talk about how you can tell if your sales and marketing teams are out of sync because misalignment costs you real dollars. This is a common challenge, Rob. We've seen this over and over again. Different messaging causes confusion, and not to mention also some marketing panics. Rob, want to talk about when you love when that salesperson shows up at 10 o'clock on a Friday that there's a proposal due?
Do you know what? Yes, I would love to talk about this is now my chance to talk about it. Brilliant, perfect. Yes. No, I like earlier in my career, you in a separate marketing function, you'd have a salesperson got to get the deal. They've got a big potential client to bring on board. Proposal goes out, and it's due in on Monday, and they come to you Friday afternoon, just as you're thinking about kind of wrapping up the week, just going, actually, the initial request is, "Can you make this look pretty?" Which would be the initial request. And you kind of look at it from a marketing perspective and go, "Well, yes, we can make that look pretty, but actually, we could also make it the message tighter. We can make it look more professional. We can bring in more of the story of the business in there." The only problem is, it's at Friday afternoon or 10 o'clock at night, and there isn't really time to do it. So certainly early on in my career, there's been many instances of where a proposal has gone out and you'd sort of gone, do you know what? You try hard as you can, but given the timescales, there wasn't enough to make it the very best it possibly could be. So that's certainly been kind of my my experience. Look, more later on in my career, I've been able to kind of make that a much more structured process where that when the proposals are, and actually the sales and marketing team are working much more closely together. And I'm sure you've seen that as well, Anna.
I know, and Rob, it is frustrating, and this is where I would almost say that sales and marketing should report to the same person, and we could talk more about that because I think it helps alleviate any disconnects that there might be between the two functions. I found the most success is when I've had sales and marketing report into me and being able to control the message and making sure that marketing was never put in a position of reacting versus being strategically aligned with the vision of the company, with the brand identity, and it becomes this great thread in the fabric of your organization where it's all linked together and avoid some of the frustration that's caused when it's disconnected. But yes, I agree. I've had salespeople go to marketing and say, "Can you make this pretty?" and completely miss the message of what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. I think you really kind of summed it up. Actually, I don't think marketing is brilliantly placed to be highly reactive to things. There are certain things in marketing that we're being reactive, especially when it comes around to PR and responding to kind of external events. Marketing has a particular skill in that. But when it comes around to the process of selling and taking a story, marketing works best when it's actually strategically placed into the mix. But I kind of, yeah, so when businesses want, obviously within a business, everybody's happy about it, but marketing and sales should be equally as happy about a piece of business being won. And actually, when marketing and sales are separate functions, that often is not always the case. It should be that here is a piece of business that is jointly won together. Yeah, but certainly with more time and more structure, proposals and client pitches can be an awful lot better with marketing and sales.
Right, and you know what, Rob, actually, as you were talking, it kind of almost, presented like a visual as I was thinking about what you were saying. I almost feel that if you were to look at it, as a pyramid or as a triangle, at the top, you might have, vision and business strategy that, the CEO or the chairman or the, board of directors, whoever set the direction of the company. But I would say second to that is then marketing, because it's going to create the brand identity that is going to support that business strategy. And then I would say third to that is the sales strategy. So, not that I'm trying to, create a ladder or a pecking order, but I do think that sometimes what happens, I know on the sales side, we're guilty of that we view as marketing is there to service us and help us close business. But there's a component of marketing that needs to be recognized, which is at a strategic level that needs to be linked way up there with, brand identity, vision, mission, company overall business strategy.
I know you're so right, and I think that although I really like that kind of pyramid vision, but it doesn't necessarily mean that when it says the marketing, the branding, that doesn't, that whilst that is the competence of people, good people in marketing, it's not the kind of the sole remit of those people, and other people can contribute to that. But yeah, absolutely, getting that story, that brand, that message, that sense of trust is just so utterly key in that overall mix. I'd also say that it is actually kind of one of these things where the arrow can go up as well, because the higher you go up, the more generic the words are. And it's so like the vision, you can see visions of companies, and many of them, I've seen some great visions of, but some of them are actually sort of rather generic, and actually when you're looking at from a sales perspective and speaking directly with customers, you can uncover things about your company, about what is special about it, that really needs to be fed up that pyramid. So actually, yeah, each one's a strata, but there's a kind of a can I add to your diagram here? Arrows going up and down. There's information feeds up and down, and it's a living, breathing thing. Yeah, evolving all of the time.
Absolutely, because I think also sometimes what happens is until you have the practical experience of the sales teams out there selling the products or the services or whatever it might be, that feedback and that input is going to play a key role in further shaping the organization and also the marketing strategy, right? So I agree with you. The arrows go both ways, and there's got to be that constant, feedback going up and down. I think, kind of to, summarize our discussion today, it's really spotting the signs is a powerful statement, because you need to make sure that you're aware if there is a misalignment and what are the steps that you can take to, to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, our call to action is if you spotted any of these red flags that we've just talked about, please, comment below, and let's start figuring out how have they already been fixed, or how can we start fixing it today?